And you're going to take it on. Something is still happening there. It was happening when you were there. And it's still going on. I need someone to tell me what it is so I can stop it, so I can make something right. Put my trust in you. You can't even save yourself.
I'm just gonna wait for people to come in. I'm watching a show.
Oh, John, did you do something?
Are you projecting? Are you feeling bad about something that you did? It's so deeply unrewarding when you
Let's check Discord, Miss Claire. Oh, careful. Let's put Twitter. And hold on. I'm just waiting for people to come in. And I can start reading that book. Alright, I need to share this. Twitter. Hey, Great Dane. Hey, Artistic Shill. Oh, careful. You only just got it? Ah, no worries. I'll just wait a little bit for anybody else to come in. And then I'll start reading. Little cat, you can't just lay there. And I think my hearing aid just died. The hell? That was weird. It's like Alright, I guess I'm going with one tonight. It's weird. I've been watching this show and it's called great, now I can't remember. It's on Amazon Prime and it's called Tell Me Your Secrets. I'm hooked. There's only one season, but it's got the girl from American Horror Story in it. American Horror Stories in it. And her real name's Lily Rabe. Uh, she was in the first season. Jack, you scared the crap out of me. She was the one that was married to Charles, and the doctor was making or was doing the abortions on the woman. Jack, can you shut up? Psst. It's being weird. You only got notification for EKC yesterday when she went live. I only knew about hers as she put it in Discord. I don't know how to do that. Jack, stop it. Usually the other girls are here, but they might not have gotten the notification either. Hold on, I'll check Discord. There, put that in Discord. I still can't hear my intro either. 3 hours. Oh, I don't blame you. All right, I sent out some notifications. I'm gonna start reading, I guess. Yeah. Got my cat on me, Miss Claire, so that's lovely. So you might hear some oh, you're gonna go have a nap? Oh, okay. Well, you have a great afternoon. Enjoy your nap. I'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. I hate not getting enough sleep. I usually get grumpy. Or I just feel like my day's shot to hell. All right, sounds good, Great Dane. Okay, let me see. So we ended on this chapter and it's called, oh yeah, we were all about the owl. Oh, I need Deb to get her ass in here. Deb, I'm calling you. Because and Patty, they were talking about the owl. So this one's called The Owl or the Husband. Who's the real culprit? Back in 2009, another theory related to Kathleen's death emerged when T. Lawrence Pollard, a Durham attorney and a neighbor of the Petersons, proposed that an owl could be the reason for Kathleen's death as she ran to protect herself from its attack and ended up falling down the stairs, causing her head to hit the treads of the steps. I'm gonna have to go with bullshit. An owl? Really? If I saw an owl, I wouldn't be running in fear. I'd be standing there in awe because I've never seen one in real life. Although he wasn't directly involved in the case, he had been following its public proceedings, and after carefully examining the findings and words from witnesses, he took a step ahead and gave his approach towards Kathleen's death. After analyzing the evidence from the State Bureau of Investigation, in North Carolina, he suggested that the feather, as mentioned in the evidence list, could be the turning point for the case. Later on, the defense team determined that the SBI lab report mentioned a wooden sliver from a tree limb and an owl feather clutched in the victim's left hand while she was struggling to protect herself from the object. What? That's news to me. She had a sliver in one hand from a tree limb, and she had a feather from the owl. What? After Lawrence Pollard completed his owl theory, District Attorney Jim Hardin and Frida Black has assistant poo-pooed the idea by mentioning state pathologist Deborah Radish lab report in which she didn't testify about the owl feather. Okay, so there was an owl. That's so weird to me. There was an owl feather then. Rather, she claimed that the wounds on Kathleen Peterson's head would have been caused by a blow poke. Once the prosecution was finished with their arguments, Michael's lawyer, David Rudolph, sprang into action and, taking a bold step to prevent his failure, forced the court to cross-examine Deborah's report once again. He supported his request by saying that an aluminum hollow tube with a sharp blade couldn't kill Kathleen in the way she was found. He called Deborah into the witness stand and asked, is it possible to have hematomas or contusions from the blow poke on the head? Based on her experience, she said no. Then he further asked, how could a blow poke kill Kathleen? She didn't have the answer to this question as well. Radish seemed to be quite speechless to whatever David was saying, as she was not in a position to explain how Michael could kill his wife with a blow poke, especially when it comes to having hollow wounds on her head. When this owl theory was introduced, there was quite a lot of evidence to prove that owls are known to attack people and cause severe injuries. I did not know that. There was an incident reported in which a man was attacked by an owl when he was leaving his workplace. The whole incident was captured by the security cameras. Pollard also brought him into his press conference when he was discussing the owl theory involved in Kathleen's case. A victim, a young boy, mentioned that the owl knocked him down and caused severe bleeding from his head. Press release Thursday, August 21st, 2008, Judicial Building, Durham, North Carolina. What? The owl wasn't in the house, though. That's the thing. It's just screwed up. Okay, this one's titled Potential Exonerating Evidence Found in Peterson Murder Case. Member of the press, we are here today to announce significant news in the Michael Peterson murder case of 2001. Mr. Peterson was convicted in 2003 of murdering his wife, Kathleen. Shortly after the conviction, a new theory arose as to what might have happened to Mrs. Peterson, i.e., the owl theory. The DA's office dismissed it as absurd, citing the absence of feathers, and most people labeled it ridiculous. Always the same question was asked by the authorities and press: where are the owl feathers? I'm sorry, this is ridiculous. Well, folks, we are here today announcing that the feather has been found. And what's more important is where the feather was found. Entwined in the hair of Kathleen Peterson that was pulled out by the root ball and clutched in her left hand. This is the most significant clue found yet in this mysterious murder case because it comes from ground zero on that fateful December night in 2001 and it points us directly to Kathleen's attacker. Are you effing kidding me? The microscopic feather is the equivalent of a nuclear piece of exculpatory and or exonerating evidence and must be immediately examined forensically to find its origin. It clearly shows that something avian was on Mrs. Peterson's head at the time of the assault because owls have tiny microscopic feathers that cover their feet and their legs and toes all the way to the talons. And because owls are primarily nocturnal, this may be from one transferred to Mrs. Peterson's hair. I call bullshit. What? The feather was discovered by a member of Peterson's defense team as she was going back through the old files and boxes of documents in this case. A routine examination of an SBI crime lab report on fiber and hair analysis done on February 19, 2002, over 6 years ago, yielding this amazing discovery. Yeah, okay. It is truly a remarkable job of research, and we all owe her a great debt of gratitude for her diligence and sharp acumen in finding it. We are confident it will ultimately lead to Mr. Peterson being proven an innocent man. That that wow, I'm kind of speechless. Like this doesn't make any sense. Um, like at all. So an owl attacked her outside now? This doesn't make any sense. The importance of the feather cannot be overstated because one, it comes from the wounds on top of Mrs. Peterson's head, and two, it is the equivalent of not just DNA of the attacker of Miss Peterson's hand, but a whole body part, albeit a small one. Rest assured, if this feather had been a hair from Michael Peterson rather than a feather, the state would have been waving it in front of the jury like a red flag in front of a bull. The fact that it is a feather instead of Michael Peterson's hair or DNA makes it no less significant. A microscopic owl feather in her hand? Yeah, okay. Therefore, the defense team of Michael Peterson is formally requesting the district attorney's office to officially reopen the investigation of Miss Peterson's death and immediately photograph, test, and analyze this overlooked and newly discovered evidence. It doesn't, right? This doesn't make any freaking sense at all. Like, not one bit. So they're saying that she was attacked outside, which caused her to run in the house, up the stairs, and fall down twice. And then they're saying that it attacked her outside, and then she died right there. That doesn't make any sense. Inasmuch as the feather has been in the possession of the state of NC for almost 6 years, and because the state denied its existence and has repeatedly been asked for the feathers, we respectfully submit that it is the state's responsibility and moral obligation to do this immediately. Yeah, I just got here for the this is the F and owl. Hey, Chronic. Yeah, so they're saying that Kathleen was attacked by this owl, and the owl is the one who made all those marks on her head and killed her. Then they're saying the owl tried to attack Kathleen on the top of her head, and because of that, she ran in the house terrified and ran up the stairs and fell down twice. The fuck? And these feathers, there was one in her hand and one in her head. They were microscopic. That could be just from her. She was outside in the pool. She could have, put her hands. Hey, Laura. She could have put her hand on the ground, got a microscopic feather on her, and then touched her hair. This is ridiculous. So now the defense is pissed off because they want a whole new trial. They're saying the defense team of Michael Peterson is formally requesting the district attorney's office to officially reopen the investigation of Miss Peterson's death and immediately photograph, test, and analyze this overlooked and newly discovered evidence. Inasmuch as the feather has been in the possession of the state of NC for almost 6 years, and because the state denied its existence and has repeatedly been asked for the feathers, we respectfully submit that it is the state's responsibility and moral obligation to do this immediately. Wow. I'm sorry. I don't believe this at all. We say this because it is the duty of the DA's office to seek justice and follow any and all potentially exonerating evidence and not just seek a conviction. If the feather is proven to be from a raptor or any avian creature that could inflict these types of injuries, then Mr. Peterson should be immediately exonerated and released from custody. Indeed, this feather can prove and proves Mr. Peterson is an innocent man and provide for his freedom immediately. What the F? No, this is ridiculous. So it can be said that the owl theory was actually more valid than the blow poke idea. No. It was a blunt instrument on her head. So yeah, there was lacerations, a bunch of them. There was what was it, 77 marks that she had, and it was funny because it's not funny, but the same thing as the other one that fell down the stairs, Elizabeth, she also had over 17. Was it 17 or 77? I think it was 17 or so. I don't know. Can't remember now. This invisible weapon was presented by the prosecution when Catherine's sister Candace mentioned that she gifted her one, which was missing from the crime scene. In the beginning, nobody was convinced by the owl theory as it made no sense to anyone, but after some time, it was realized that the theory was discredited purposefully. While most of the people were not convinced by the owl theory, there were still some from the media who took his facts seriously and asked him how could an owl enter the Petersons' mansion? What the fudge? Instead of claiming that an owl found a place to get into the home, Pollard stated that Kathleen was attacked in the yard, which led to the next question. So, where were the feathers then? To be honest, the answer was quite obvious. The police never looked for the feathers outside the crime scene. Some critics also asked, where is the blood then? If an owl attacked Kathleen outside the home, why didn't the place have any blood marks? Yes, no one was interested enough to look for it, but still, the initial report mentioned bloodstains on the door and porch from where she re-entered the home. The next question, so you're telling me she fell down the stairs twice and then re-entered the home and then... Okay, now I'm really confused. The next question arising out of the discussion was, how could she die from an owl's attack and how did the bloodstains spread on the staircase? Pollard cleared this confusion by giving the statement that when an owl attacked Kathleen and she ran inside to protect herself, her blood was all the way across the floor that led to creating her footprints and blood on the staircase. Bullshit. That's complete bullshit. This one's titled Durham Attorney Declined the Request to Reopen the Case. Durham attorney T. Lawrence Pollard filed 3 affidavits to the Superior Court about reopening the case because he found compelling evidence of Michael being innocent in Kathleen Peterson's death in 2001, and he refused to accept the guilty charge. However, new progress in the discovery mentioned the presence of more feathers in the victim's left hand. He further explained that these findings should have materially affected the jury's deliberation and final verdict. The victim might have lost more microscopic feathers, but still, some traces were left in her hand. That could be from touching the ground. When you go into a pool, you go in and out, you are touching the ground to help yourself in and out unless you use the ladder. The next argument by the attorney brought a new twist to Michael's trial, as the defense was not aware of a tire iron from the neighborhood. Prosecution responded by saying that it had nothing to do with Kathleen's murder, and therefore the judge refused to consider his request. The request somehow managed to receive coverage by the media, and some of the representatives started to question the manner of investigation by the State Bureau of North Carolina. Michael's children also sent a letter to the News and Observer stating that these evidences should be considered and their father must have a new trial over microscopic feathers. What the shit? Pollard just suggested Hudson hold off his decision until the defense lawyers discuss and complete paperwork. He shared his views as, "We still have some hope. Although the incident happened late at night, we got the feather. We also know that a small wooden sliver was also recovered from the victim's hand, which was found to have been related to a tree limb. Sadly, the SBI lab agents didn't pay attention to the feathers. They shouldn't think that they had nothing to do with the case." While talking about the affidavits, it's important to look into the fact that they included a letter from the genetics program of Robert C. Fletcher of the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. I bit my tongue again last night, so it hurts, and my mouth's kind of not working. He mentioned that he wanted to do DNA test of the feathers in order to find out the species of the bird. Dr. Alan Van Norman, one of the lab agents, explained there was a pair of 2 lacerations on the victim's scalp, each having a trident appearance, with 3 limbs joining at 30 degrees from each other, while a 4th limb converges at 180 degrees from the center limb. According to the affidavit, Norman is a retired U.S. Army surgeon who was employed to work as an owl expert and neurosurgeon in North Dakota. He mentioned that, after a brief examination, Kathleen's injuries were not consistent with respect to what a blunt object could cause. Rather, these injuries were quite consistent with a large bird attack. The back and forth on this is ridiculous. Dr. Patrick T. Reddick also agreed to Pollard's theory in a study at the University of Minnesota. He was the person behind the second affidavit, in which he said, "According to my professional exposure, the acclaimed attack at the back and face of victim's head was quite obviously from a large owl. It could be expected to see such lacerations and punctures." Again, I don't buy this theory whatsoever, and that's all it is a theory in my eyes. He killed his wife. I mean, you don't have 2 women in your life that fall down the stairs and die. You just don't. No, you just don't. While writing the third affidavit, Kate P. Davis, Raptors of the Rockies executive director, agreed with the hypothesis and explained that it would be possible for owls to show such behavior and kill humans like this. The lacerations present on the victim's scalp are quite similar to those created by a raptor's talons. Possibilities are high that she might have resisted the attack from the back of the head, due to which there were feathers in her hand. The configuration and size also indicate that the attack would have been done by a barred owl. Yeah, okay. This part's titled, "Deaver Convinced Jurors About Michael's Conviction." During Michael Peterson's trial, Dwayne Deaver, blood spatter expert, gave his testimony in which he explained that the blood present on the staircase wall and on Michael's clothes was evidence that the accused was guilty of first-degree murder of Kathleen Peterson. His testimony played a crucial role in sending Michael behind bars. His perjured testimony played a decisive role in Peterson being released. Shit. He testified before, but after many requests and a struggle to convince jurors to hear the testimony, Deaver finally managed to bring his analysis in front of the court. 4 men and 8 women showed interest in this testimony. In the beginning of this explanation, he said, "This forceful impact started from step 16, whose pressure was entirely on the surface. The head of the victim was hit with so much force that it was not possible to have happened from a fall." Jim Harden was the person behind Deaver's explanation of the blood spatter analysis. With the help of a silver model and photographs of the back staircase, he presented the results of his experiments with bloody clothes, mannequin heads, and sponges. I wonder if they actually have this on Google. I agree, Patty. It is just an insult. Yeah, absolutely. Some jurors took a closer look at his poster boards and diagrams since it would be a turning point for prosecution as the testimony declared Michael as a murderer. The 18-year veteran from the FBI explained to the jury that the victim was hit 3 times at the back of her head with a hard object, which caused her to fall off the stairs immediately. Upon analysis of the blood spatters on Michael's shoes and shorts, he predicted that he was standing right behind Kathleen when she died. He supported his argument by showing Converse sneakers and said, "The bloodstains on the shoes are the result of a forceful impact, but I couldn't tell the height from where they are created." I was going to see if they have any of the one with the mannequin heads and this, the sponges. Let's see. Here's one here, and the spatter is all at the bottom of the stairs. What? Oops, I forgot to view image, but yeah. See it? My God. Hardin, with the help of State's Exhibit 72, questioned whether Deaver had seen something like that before. He replied that such blood marks could have been caused by the fireplace tool, i.e., the blowpoke. There were similar bloodstains on Kathleen's left leg. As with the evidence, he showed the pictures of his experiment in which he pressed the end of the tool against the poster board and a bloody paper towel. Both had the same marks. Wow. Another confusing part was the absence of the fireplace tool when Deaver searched the crime scene. Yes, finally, we're getting back to this. Hey, Teresa. No worries. We're getting back to the blow poke. So another confusing part was the absence of the fireplace tool when Deaver searched the crime scene on December 9th, 2001. Surprisingly, he found everything perfectly in order during his second visit on June 27th, 2002, when the fireplace set was the same as new. At the end of the hearing, Hardin asked Deaver if he had a conclusion about what exactly had happened with Kathleen that night. Using his silver pointer, he explained the entire testimony that the attacker outside the stairwell had used as a hard object to hit victim's head. Facing down the stairs, he struck her head thrice, and there was blood everywhere after a few seconds. There must be blood stains on step 17 as well, but I believe that they were cleaned purposely when Kathleen was lying on the step 18, he added. There's a huge amount of blood spatter down there. That seems to me like he was hitting her at the bottom of the stairs as well to make sure she was dead, you know what I mean? Upon hearing Deaver's bloody testimony and analysis, the jurors were more certain about Michael's conviction. Tim Pomback, who was the departmental chairman at the University of New Haven, pointed out some valid objections in Peterson's murder trial. When he was arrested December 9, 2001, for his wife's murder, Dwayne Deaver proposed blood testimony that led Michael to his guilty verdict and life imprisonment. He made many requests to reconsider testimony throughout his sentence, but wasn't successful. Pombeck was one of the defense witnesses in the trial, claimed that Deaver's theory to identify the source of bloodstains on the staircase was misleading and it was full of flaws. He stated that Deaver focused on a few blood droplets and didn't mention to the jurors that there were more bloodstains he never tested. I'm looking at the stairs right now. That's clear to me that that spatter is blood force trauma. Are you kidding me? When the State Bureau of Investigation became aware that Dwayne Deaver had submitted a false report in 2003 and committed perjury in Michael's trial, Peterson received approval for a retrial. Fuck's sake. thus receiving another chance to prove his innocence. Deaver was fired in 2001, after which time more cases were proved to have been falsified. Deaver was shown to falsify up to 34 previous criminal cases, as reported by the authorities. One such case was related to Kirk Turner, whom Deaver wrongfully testified against and was paramount in his conviction for his wife's murder in 2007. When Turner's innocence was proven, he sued Deaver and a fellow FBI agent for $200,000, which was settled in 2018. Kirk claimed that the agents filmed the entire scene on their own, keeping in mind that the results should match. As a result of their compromise and duties, Kirk was also awarded $4.25 million as a settlement from the state of North Carolina. That's why he got a retrial, was because this fucking idiot decided to falsify claims and falsify reports and lie on the witness stand. So that's just fantastic. Way to go, Deaver. I was just chugging my tea. Now we're on the retrial hearing. Michael Peterson's counsel in the retrial submission stated that the captious column written by Peterson for Herald Sun, a Durham newspaper from years 1997 to 1999, infuriated the police department and country district attorney's office of Durham. It also influenced their rather abrupt decision to investigate it. The approach employed by the Durham police and the NC Bureau of Investigation in the probe of Kathleen Peterson's death, coupled with the district attorney's hasty move to charge Michael Peterson, strongly implied an earnest resolve to indict Mike for the demise of his spouse, stated the submission. According to the submission, the state embraced an open file transparency statute which mandates that after investigation, law enforcement released all evidence, notes, and test results to the defense prior to the retrial. If any communications were made within the police of Durham or another enforcement team, whether it's in written form or not, demonstrating extreme dislike or partiality against Michael Peterson because he criticized the enforcement of law personnel, it isn't likely the Durham police would divulge that information during the 2003 initial trial. Although now the open file policy of North Carolina now mandates that such communication be disclosed in accordance with the new governing statutes. President of Bevel, Gardner and Associates, an Oklahoma-based forensic science consulting company, Thomas Bevel, hinted that Deaver, whom the FBI had relieved of his duties, hadn't improved himself professionally by taking training courses in more than 20 years and did not belong to any professional organizations. Consequently, he didn't have any peer review, which might have improved his work in some way. Bevel went on further in his testimony to say that Deaver's handling of Michael's case was below standard and lacked professionalism, and he didn't document his findings about the blood found at the base of the stairway appropriately. Bevel got a bit dramatic in the courtroom when he hit the wall with his head, with the intention of explaining to the court the possibility of Kathleen injuring herself accidentally as opposed to being murdered. Tracy Klein, a district attorney in the Durham, opposed Bevel's thoughts, arguing that he hasn't reviewed evidence from the trial. She went further to ask Bevel to say categorically if, in his opinion, Deaver was right or wrong. Bevel, however, answering indirectly said, "There are too many gray areas in this case I do not agree with." An investigator from Charlotte, Ronald Guret, said after he thoroughly scrutinized Deaver's files at the State Bureau of Investigation, he observed that he hadn't been at a crime scene for more than 4 years before handling Peterson's case. Tracy Klein, on the other hand, proceeded to prove that Deaver's testimony was correct. She firmly believed Peterson should be denied a retrial. Tom Metzoff, a law professor at Duke University, closely observed the first trial back in 2003, said one cannot make sudden plays, as with a standard football match. The retrial would be different as the opposition team is very aware and ready. Some of those superficial matters, like the sexuality concern of Michael being bisexual and the neighbor's death in Germany, wouldn't come in anymore as testimony, he further said. I find that to be bullshit. Um, because Elizabeth, I believe, was murdered as well by Mike Peterson. And that's a huge thing that they all need to see in here. That's ridiculous. As a reference, the North Carolina Supreme Court in 2007 ruled against the search, which led to the finding of emails exchanged between Peterson and a male escort, saying the finding was very insufficient as the investigators were unable to put forward a good reason to go through Michael's personal computers. I can think of 100 different reasons, to be honest. I mean, why one reason is that why he murdered his wife? Because he wanted to be with that man? He wanted to be with his lover? I mean, the prosecuting attorneys were bent on the hunch that the emails and evidence from the male escort implied that the Petersons were having troubles in their marriage, and so that could very well be a probable motive for the murder of Kathleen by her husband, Michael. Exactly. The court didn't conclude that rendering the search null and void wouldn't suffice to have reversed Michael's conviction at that time. It would, however, exclude introduction in a fresh trial, that is, all the proof concerning the escort and any other testimony retrieved from Michael's personal computers. Peterson mentioned during an interview years ago that he felt bad not being able to testify in his own defense. He felt bad, which meant he was likely to take to the witness stand himself during the retrial. Oh my God. As there would be different testimonials in the retrial, so also would there be a different set of people. Hey, Trio. Yeah, see, I would believe that over anything else, Patty. Exactly. Like I remember there was a theory that she had seen what was on the computer and that was where the fight started. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. Now that would be something to fight about. Oh my God, I feel like I'm starving. Holy, when I get hungry, I have to eat quick or my stomach like tortures me. Hudson presided over the initial trial. He revealed he would be asking the Administrative Office of North Carolina to assign a different judge to oversee the retrial. Rudolph also mentioned not being certain he would be continuing as Peterson's defense counsel. In his 39 pages ruling, Hudson, the preceding judge in the Peterson case, wrote that Duane Deaver confused both the jurors and himself about the competence and the correctness of his blood tests. The judge went further in his write-up to say that he would never have permitted Deaver to stand as a witness if he had known Duane puffed his abilities and even other experts in blood spatter doubted his tests. Duane's evidence steered the consultations and the jurors' verdict in the wrong direction, Hudson wrote. Duane's misstatement and the acceptance of his own methods and findings had a huge impact on the proceedings of Peterson's trial. Hudson ruled that prosecuting counsel were required to put Peterson's attorneys in the know of Duane's favoritism and questionable scientific methods of tests he conducted prior to the 2003 trial. Failure to make this notification equates to the violation of a fair hearing for Peterson. On November 14, 2016, Michael Peterson's petition for the evasion of a retrial was denied. A fresh trial was thereby slated for March 8, 2017, but about this time, a resolution was being negotiated by Rudolph representing Peterson again and the DA of Durham County. This one is titled Peterson Accepts an Alford Plea. After realizing that the FBI agent had provided misleading evidence, the court allowed retrial of his wife Kathleen's murder case in order to make sure that he could use all the methods available to prove his innocence. But on February 24, 2017, Peterson accepted an Alford plea. An Alford plea is a guilty plea of a defendant who proclaims he is innocent of the crime but admits that the prosecution has enough evidence to prove that he is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. It is entered when an accused, together with his attorney, has made the calculated decision to plead guilty because the evidence against him is so strong that it will likely lead to conviction. Typically, it results in a guilty plea of a lesser crime, i.e., second-degree murder rather than first-degree murder. Some states see the Alford plea invoked frequently, such as Louisiana, Michigan, Missouri, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. However, the United States military, along with Indiana and New Jersey, forbid its use entirely. To the manslaughter of his wife, Kathleen Peterson. The primary reason behind taking the Alford plea is to resolve the murder case that has been going on for over a decade. Neither Michael nor Kathleen's family was fully satisfied with the judicial process. And since he was fed up and didn't want a retrial, Michael decided to take a plea but didn't miss a step in claiming his innocence. Of course he didn't. In one of his interviews, the 73-year-old claimed that he was a victim who had to fight for justice on a crooked table, where he also had to face misbehaving crime scene analysts and law enforcement officers. Kathleen's sisters were sure that Michael had something to do with their sister's death. They were upset when the court set him free in 2017. Yeah, I would be too. Bastard. That same day, Durham attorney Roger Eccles prepared a statement that Mr. Peterson was now responsible for Kathleen's death, and after going through an extensive review of testimonial and physical evidence, he agreed to enter into a plea agreement. The Durham attorney made this decision after consultation with Kathleen Peterson's family and asked a series of questions of Michael in order to make sure that he had no problem with the mentioned terms and conditions. Okay, now I guess we're getting into some conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories about the death of Kathleen Peterson. This case was fraught with dramatic twists, turns, and inconsistencies. Whether it was the wrong report by a blood analyst or different blood patterns than in a usual stair fall, the defense and prosecution teams revealed some interesting yet moving theories such that the direction of the case was completely changed. Their theories range from a bloodthirsty bird attack to an extramarital affair revelation, which caused disruption in the couple's lives. From feathers to pine needles, Kathleen's death involves the following crazy and weird speculations, some of which we touched on earlier in this book. Here comes your owl theory. Not your theory, but here comes the owl bullshit, Patty. Number one is an angry owl attacked Kathleen. Following the Michael Peterson's trial, one of his neighbors, attorney Larry Pollard, took a step ahead and asked for permission to re-examine the evidence on his own. Upon analysis, he found tiny owl feathers on Kathleen's head along with pine needles in her fist. Yeah, but they were microscopic. Bringing the old findings into limelight once again, he introduced a weird idea that the victim might have been attacked by an angry owl. Okay. And while struggling to prevent herself from falling, she hit her head on a few steps of the staircase. Pollard supported his idea by showing similarities of the lacerations of a barred owl's talons that were caused when she was trying to pull the bird away from her. The jury took his claims seriously and called someone ornithological. Oh, okay, sorry. Ornithological. Yeah, I totally botched that. Ornithological experts for further examination. They also agreed to Pollard's idea. However, the bizarre theory never helped Michael to clear his name from the case. Number two was Michael's extramarital relationship. See, this one I would more believe more than anything. Fuck off. They got one for a Mothman. Okay. All right. Here's number two, Michael's extramarital relationship. During their initial investigation, the police officers discovered Michael's interest in male pornography. They examined his laptop and found a lot of gay adult material, along with chats and activities on various escort websites. Upon further probing, they found a male escort named Brent Wolgamont, with whom Michael was negotiating for sexual services. The same prosecution also believed that the proof of same-sex infidelity could be the reason for Kathleen's murder because she might have threatened to leave Michael. Here, defending his position, Michael claimed that Kathleen was fine with his relationship, but some sources disagreed by saying that she already left Fred Atwater due to his infidelity, and therefore she wouldn't tolerate his as well. Okay, this one's got to be a joke. The third reason is a supernatural force. The Mothman attacked Kathleen Peterson. Yeah, okay. There's no doubt that the internet has been quite successful in involving supernatural objects and creating conspiracy theories. While discussing the owl theory, some Redditors mentioned that the bird attack was a bit weird considering the size of the feather found on Kathleen's body. They argued that there was something bigger and more dangerous than a barred owl. They feared an elusive Mothman. One of the Redditors claimed that while living in the state of North Carolina, one fact was quite certain that Mothman used to spawn in the surroundings, due to which there were no owls that would have such big feathers. Apart from seeing regular old hawks, there were no such frighteningly large birds that could do such acts. Someone may be convinced by these claims, but there was nothing that the jury could find mindful and supporting. I mean, you think? They're reaching so much that it is ridiculous as flat earthers who claim Australia doesn't exist. The issue is this story isn't funny. Yeah, you're right. I've heard about the flat earthers, yeah. And something about the Australia doesn't exist. Pretty sure it does. Oh my God, here's the fourth bullshit reason. A tree branch was the murder weapon. Considering the presence of pine needles and feathers in Kathleen's hair, some people have believed that the evidence might have been transferred by a natural source, i.e., a branch or a stick. They believe that this murder weapon would be quite easy to dump. Yeah, you can't with this bullshit. I know. They believe that this murder weapon would be quite easy to dump. They argued that there were chances for the tree branch to accumulate bits of owl feathers. So if this murder weapon was used, there were chances of it having traces of feathers without showing visible signs of it. Here's another one, number 5. Oh my God, there's like 7 of them. Is there more? There's 8, 8 theories. Number 5 is Kathleen's life insurance triggered Michael to kill her. Michael and Kathleen Peterson were under a load of debt. During the trial, the prosecution's case focused on money or the couple's lack thereof as a motive. They argued that Michael's plan to kill his wife revolved around the 1.4 million life insurance policy she had in place. Despite living what looked like a lavish lifestyle from the outside, the Petersons were in a lot of debt. An agent from the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, Raymond Young, assessed the couple's finances and discovered that they had more than $142,000 in debt spread across 20 different accounts. It was reported that they were spending more than $100,000 more than they were taking home. Michael's sons, Clayton and Todd Peterson, were also in severe debt. The interest on the boys' loans was so high, they had no money left to live on, and their father was concerned. Michael Peterson was so worried, in fact, he emailed his first wife, Patty, 11 days before Kathleen's death to ask her to take a $30,000 home equity loan to help their sons out because he was unable to do so. It would be a huge relief off my shoulders because I'm worried sick about them, Michael's email read. It is simply not possible for me to discuss this with Kathleen. Number 6. Ugh, Michael's sons were the murderers. Yeah, okay. In the beginning of the true crime Netflix documentary, The Staircase, Clayton, Michael's biological son, mentioned the strong and beautiful bond between his father and Kathleen, which makes him happy and jealous at the same time because that bonding was never developed with his mother, Patricia Peterson. For some viewers, his words were enough to consider him a suspect with a motive of jealousy talking about this theory, Todd was presented in front of the jury with the claim that he was already present at the crime scene. The attitude of the two brothers was quite weird and suspicious since one of them refused to say even a word to police. Number 7 is a rake or a gardening fork was used to attack Kathleen. Since Reddit has been quite active on Kathleen's death speculation, some of the members also thought that the murder weapon would be a garden rake, while for some, the marks looked like a three-pronged gardening tool. The discussion ranged quite far and wider than expected, but there was no doubt that the absence of the murder weapon was the most concerning part, as there were no proven reasons to find the culprit. However, some Redditors argued that a garden rake might cause parallel lacerations, whereas Kathleen's head had erratic injuries, so this argument came to an end. Okay, the last one is there is a curse on the surname Peterson. Although the conspiracy theory doesn't have a scientific support, it is somewhat related to what had happened with Kathleen Peterson. According to some Redditors, there had been quite a lot of spousal murder cases around the world whose surname was Peterson. There was a man named Scott Peterson who murdered his pregnant wife, Lacey, while Drew Peterson was found guilty for first-degree murder of his wife, also named Kathleen. So, considering the facts and details, some people mentioned that this surname had a strange curse on the family. While looking at these conspiracy theories, one thing quite certain is that true crime fans took a lot of interest in Michael's trial and used their detective skills to make speculations about Kathleen's murder. Okay, I'm going to stop there and I will pick this up tomorrow. But I'm going to play the trailer for the Netflix documentary. I just want to see it. Hey, Amanda. I'm just going to play the trailer for The Staircase on Netflix. I'm going to watch it again.
I can vividly remember finding Kathleen.
911, where's your emergency?
My wife had an accident. She's still breathing.
What kind of accident?
Still downstairs.
Kathleen Peterson was found dead at the bottom of the couple's staircase.
Peterson's husband is novelist Michael Peterson.
The cop was on me instantly.
There was sufficient evidence to warrant a trial.
The injuries are not consistent with a fall down the stairs.
The charge, first-degree murder.
No way in this world my father ever would have hurt Kathleen.
Really, Dad, we believe you.
He wanted to give the appearance that this was a wholesome, functioning family. Well, that simply is not true.
Mr. Peterson was bisexual.
I understand you'll want to pump the ratings, but give me a break.
I don't think the DA cares about truth anymore. This has become a show.
The back of the head was struck 3 times.
Wayne Deaver had a pattern of preparing misleading expert reports.
Scientists are not supposed to take sides.
The murder case against Michael Peterson doesn't just involve his wife anymore. It involves a friend who died 18 years ago.
At the bottom of the staircase.
Okay, well, you guys got a much better film now.
They lied, they cheated, they did everything to convict me.
There was cleanup by the police.
Shift the foundations of my beliefs in the justice system.
The system is flawed and it needs to change.
This is contamination in the crime scene.
The DA is trying to say that our dad killed our mother.
There's no murder weapon. There's no motive.
But we're sitting behind our dad.
It never occurred to Michael Peterson that people wouldn't believe him. That's really what this is all about.
Yep. He thought he'd get away with it. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. Has anybody seen the documentary on that? Where he's fatty. There's actually another one as well. And this was on HBO Max.
I think there are not many families like us.
Hold on, I just want to make sure I'm sharing the right one. You haven't seen it, eh? I want to watch it again. I watched it years ago, but I want to watch it again. So this one, I haven't seen, and this is looks like it's a movie, and it's on HBO Max. So maybe we can watch this at the end. We still got to watch Adam. Maybe we can watch that during the day tomorrow. You've seen the TV shows on the story? Yeah. I'm gonna play this. Let's see. Looks like it's good.
To the Petersons.
I'd like to make a toast to so many better
Oh, she's a
days
great
ahead.
actress.
Every day is going to be an adventure. So always stop and think, this is one of the happiest days of my life.
To the Petersons.
To us.
911, where's your emergency? My wife, she had an accident. What kind of accident? She fell down the stairs. Is she conscious? No, she's not breathing.
There were 35 cuts and bruises and 7 deep lacerations to the scalp. Someone's holding something.
That sketch right there, they were holding up, that's the actual sketch that they had, like the document. It was the actual document of Kathleen Peterson's, the back of her head.
And cause the impact to make these wounds. Make any adjustments you see fit. It's a witch hunt. You need to get you a lawyer. In a case like this, keep your family close. You'll need them on your side. We have no murder weapon, but we've found countless images on his computer.
Dad tells stories. He kept that from all of us, not from Mom. She would have told me. You're beautiful, and you're my daughter.
I got a call from a couple documentarians. They want to make a movie about our case. The French do have good taste. The fact of the matter is, she had some wine and fell.
You just wander through life, going to the gym and yelling at the dogs and spending my money. You took the life of the best thing you ever had.
I haven't even told you half of what we know about Germany.
It was 25 years ago and nothing happened. You know, there wasn't even any blood.
Well, there was some blood, Michael.
My ex-wife, everyone. She'll be around all week.
Dad has been there for us always. Stop questioning everything. Just stop. I can't.
Do you really think that Kathleen Peterson really knew who her husband was?
I think there are not many families like us.
I'm tired.
Did he get his ass kicked in prison? Oh fuck, here's the bird.
All the time. We need help.
We're not perfect, but we stick together. They called me a liar.
Maybe we both are.
And we love each other.
This is weird. The music in the background won't play.
Petersons are crazy.
Well, that does look interesting. I would like to watch both. I'm wondering what is going on with YouTube lately. I can't, like, every time I try and play an intro or an outro, it doesn't work. I cannot hear it. And for this here, I can't hear the background music at all on this movie. That's why it sounds weird. Yeah, they both look good, eh? I want to watch both of them. The Netflix documentary I'll watch again, but this one is on HBO Max. I'm pretty sure I can play it on here. I don't have HBO Max, but I know I can get it. Oh my God, what is that? Jack? I would really like to watch that movie though, Adam, like ASAP. Because I just got done that book. So I'm thinking we should really watch it. What's tomorrow, Thursday? Yeah, maybe. How about we do it Friday during the day? How'd you find my stash? Oh, he didn't find my stash. Good, because I have something stashed. Yep. You ate yours. I would love to watch it now, but I can't. I have my son just got home. I gotta get making dinner. I'm starving. You get out of my goodies.
You mean my goodies?
No, no, that was a gift for me. Yeah, it was. He found my good stuff. Damn it. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'll be back at 7. With some Katie Joy bullcrap. I'm gonna watch. Llama Girl did get the IG live she recently did before KJ deleted it. So I was gonna watch that tonight with you guys, and just a couple screenshots. I just want to show you what this asshole's doing. All right, I'm gonna say Friday we'll watch Adam. I'll make a thumbnail for it. All right, I'm gonna go. I'll try and play an outro. I doubt it, but I'll try. Anyways, I'll see you guys tonight at 7 p.m. Bye.